will speak about the Intalight Dream OCT.
Thank you so much. I'm going to talk about my experience with the Intalight machine. We assist with a very exciting period, and it's a big step for the OCT. With the Intalight machine, there is two machines, 200K and 400K, with different angle. With the 200K, you can have 26 millimeters per 21 millimeters for the OCT angiography, and for the 400K, you can have 29 per 29 angle for the OCT angiography with a really big depth. You have also a complete OCT anterior segment with a very big depth, and also big depth until 12 millimeters with retina. And you can image very easily the eye myopia, in this case of the staphyloma. Another case of eye myopia with glaucoma, you can see the defect of the RNFL and the GCC, and the small retinal detachment due to the RPE atrophy, and also multimodal imaging with this nice and deep depth. So now you can also have the curvature of the eye, in this case of eye myopia, minus 29 millimeters, and it will be very interesting for the myopia managing for the children. So now you can identify better the visualization of the vitreous and also the cistern. And we know the cistern increase with the age, and at the right side, this is the cistern motion. And you can see the connection sometimes between the vitreous, the cortex vitreous posterior and the premacular bursa in case of the vitreous liquefaction. And you can imagine to use the en-face OCT to quantify the presence of the cistern and the syneresis of the vitreous, and probably to make a graduation of the vitreous syneresis, like in this case. And in the right side, you can see the very important liquefaction of the vitreous. And you have now a multimodal approach of the vitreous with the B-scan, with the en-face OCT, and this is the important liquefaction with a young man of 30 years old. And now you can better understand the lesion in the peripheral area, in this case of retinal schisis, and look here the anarchic direction of the intravitreal fiber, and look this abnormal shape of the vitreous. And now it's very easy to analyze the lesion in the peripheral area, in this case of lattice degeneration. You can see the microhole and the intravitreal traction. And this case of retinal detachment. With a big depth, you can see very well the retinal detachment, and you can find the hole of the origin of the retinal detachment, like in this case. It's very easy in this cube of 29 by 29. You can analyze very extreme peripheral lesion, like in this case of suspicious nevus, and look here the cell within the vitreous and the RPE defect on the top of the nevus. Sorry. It's very, very quick, and look in this case of OCTA with 6 millimeters. And now the same with the 400K with an angle of 29 per 24. And now is very, very, very quick. And for the OCT angiography, you have a very good and nice contrast and a good decorrelation signal with very good detail about the neovascular architecture. And look here the difference in comparison with the common spectral domain OCT. You improve the sensitivity in this kind of CNV type 1. And you can much better improve the visualization of the CNV within the high PED, like in this case, thanks to the better segmentation of the RPE and the Brooks membrane. And look here, you can see very well the recurrence of the CNV. So you can make a follow-up until of 8 visits for the OCT angiography. And look here, the segmentation in case of polyp with very high PED, it's very easy. You can have a topography of the choroid with the choroidal vascular index and make a correlation with this hyperpermeability and serous detachment in this case. And you can understand very well also some case of the CNV in case of pachychoroidal spectrum. In this case, with a bead therapy with PDT nodos and IVT, and look the choroidal changes, and we observe a better vasoconstriction of the CNV. This is my homemade dynamic OCT, and you can make, you highlight the pulsatile flow within this case of the chronic CNC, and you can see the better pulsatile flow within the macular area, in this case highlight with choroidal mapping. So you can have also a simultaneous follow-up of a lesion, and you can move with a radial line for this 8 visit. Another case with a cube of 29 per 29, you can highlight the CNV, in this case of the polyp, with a choroidal mapping. You confirm the presence of the pachychoroid spectrum and the choroidal vascular index. And this is the different display of the choroid, and you can make a comparison with the ICG from the Optos with this one-shot 29 per 29. And also you have a very high frequency tracking, and you can analyze the recurrence of the CNV during the treatment. Before, it was this kind of cube, 6 by 6, and now it's one shot. You can see here the vascular dropout very easily, and also in this case of diabetic retinopathy, and you can zoom with a very nice detail of the vascular network. Another case of the 220 degree, in this case of diabetic retinopathy, you can see the vascular dropout and also the preretinal new vessel very easily, and you can compare with the scale of the photocoagulation. Another case also with a 400K, and look, you can have a wide field until to the 250 degree with a composite. And you see here the preretinal new vessels and the choroidal topography until the vorticox venous. And you can have also the photocoagulation display to guide the retreatment and to make a superposition of the scare observed in en face OCT. And you have also the complete anterior segment OCT. You can see very well the angular closure glaucoma, and also en face of the corneal, in this case of the flap and the scare within the LASIK. Corneal topography also. And you can analyze also the vasculature of the iris, in this case of Rasmus hemangioma. So, in conclusion, you know that the OCT and OCT-A ultra-wide field soon become a very nice gold standard for the OCT. The OCT-A become more reliable, more sensitive, and now you can also analyze the iris vasculature with OCT-A. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Adil. I would like to ask you to exchange the talk.